enforcement risk, it's real. Concerns about regulatory risk are real. The rules are complex, the science is evolving and technology is evolving faster than the regulations and the law, and enforcement is up. But here's the thing, it's not a fear of science, it's not a fear of change, it's behavior driven. It's conduct driven is where your risk is coming from. If you're gonna ever advertise something as healing or treating a disease or a condition, congratulations, that must have FDA approval. FDA regulates products. States regulate practice. When you start ascribing things to FDA that aren't true, that's when you get a really nasty letter or a knock on the door. So it's really easy to avoid those. Training up a team of marketers, non-clinical, non-provider, to diagnose people for peptide use and then turn it over to a telehealth and then send stuff out. They say this will work in all 50 states. I'm here to tell you that's a lie. Anything that you hear works in all 50 states, don't believe it, period. Prime example, in Texas, where I'm from, we have one of the worst corporate practice of medicine statutes. The only person who can diagnose or treat is an MD, DO, nurse practitioner, or PA within their prescriptive authority. The biggest thing is take effort to be compliant. Where do most of your problems come from? Or most of the problems in this industry come from? Marketing, claims, advertising, statements to patients. Informed consent forms are critically important and spelled out. This is experimental and investigational. You know this. This is not FDA approved. Put all that stuff in there. When you look at it and kind of give you a difference on what the states do and what the states don't do, I divide these into really 3 buckets. Who is the most lenient or most permissive? And here I'm gonna give you a list of states: Florida, Texas, Utah, Arizona, Nevada. Think about this, Texas. Who thinks of Texas as a permissive, lenient state? I don't. But right now, Ken Paxton and Governor Abbott just approved a psilocybin experiment to treat depression and PTSD in Texas, the Bible Belt. We want to prove gambling or marijuana, but mushrooms, you betcha. But now what makes these states permissive states? They allow broad physician discretion under what is the practice of medicine. Some of those states have right to try experiments or statutes discussing that, and the medical boards are much less apt to bring an enforcement action absent patient harm. In other words, do what works to make a patient better. Have a reason for it in your file, document it well. You go to your neutral or mixed states: Colorado, Illinois, North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania. No specific statutes on the books. The primary focus there is, in these states, is going to be on informed consent. I cannot stress to you how important informed consent is when using regenerative medicine products, when using a non-FDA approved product. By every paragraph, they must initial it. Have to read it. But then discuss it with them. Take that extra 5 minutes, and when you chart, discuss informed consent provisions and the products being administered. You're covering yourself there. You're not trying to hide anything. If you have an adverse event, report it. Clarity, transparency, and disclosure will keep you from looking like you're trying to hide the ball or be furtive. So they focus on informed consent, patient harm, and advertising. Now, let's look at all 3 of those things: patient harm, informed consent, advertising. Science or conduct issues, behavior issues? Conduct. You can fix all this through proper conduct, documentation. Then you got your restrictive, aggressive states: California, New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and Washington. Here, boards actively scrutinize biologics. They look at cash pay products. They are really, really aggressive on marketing. And these states will utilize not only their healthcare agencies, they'll also use their consumer protection agencies. But again, we're going back to conduct. You see a recurring theme here on why the regulatory risk that's out there can easily be avoided, planned for, and cared for. When you start ascribing things to FDA that aren't true, that's when you get a really nasty letter or a knock on the door. So it's really easy to avoid those. Can we all agree on that? If it's not FDA approved, don't say it. If you're using it for symptomology or to perform a function, say that. But don't say I'm using it to cure osteoarthritis or I'm going to nebulize some amniotic fluid to cure COVID. The regulatory risk is the conduct. What are people doing? Amway marketers, bold claims, lies about FDA approval. Those will get you in trouble. Utilizing an experimental product properly won't. Using a cosmetic product that's approved won't. And a doctor, if it's approved, can use it off-label, wherever that doctor sees fit, as long as the documentation supports it. The main thing here is don't be scared of regulation. It's real, it's out there, fixed through good conduct, smart conduct, and take your time to do it right.